Hey, what's up, everybody? It's TJ with the Blessed to Build Foundation, sponsored by today's Sanctified Homes and Construction. We are talking about what is an energy efficient home today. So there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into that. If you're from Wisconsin, you know we have like the Home Builder Show on Sunday mornings, and they talk about some things that are energy efficient, right? Like a lot of times you see the furnace stuff because that's what everybody thinks about. But how we create energy efficient homes today is not just putting in better equipment as far as a furnace or an AC unit or buying Energy Star appliances. If you look at actually building a better home that is going to be more energy efficient, you have to start from the ground up, right? So the first thing you need to do is understand how we insulate your home. So insulating your home is going to help you with energy efficiency, in my opinion, more than most other things you're going to do. So a lot of things that people miss, they don't insulate under their slab. So in the basement, or if you're on a slab house, nobody is putting any insulation below that foundation, right? So we want to have our drainage plane with the gravel. Then we should have insulation on that. Then you can pour your foundation on top, not your foundation, your basement slab on top of that. How much insulation you put down there makes a difference. So if you're just putting this thin little R2, R5 insulation, that's not going to help a ton. It's better than nothing to help with thermal breaks. But you have to look at and do the research on, okay, what is the optimal insulation to have under your basement slab? What is the optimal insulation to have on your basement walls? A lot of people leave part of their basement unfinished. Well, if you don't have any insulation down there or any R value on your wall, which is the resistance to thermal transfer of heat or cool, right? You're going to lose a ton of your energy efficiency. Now, codes today require us to have, I think, a minimum of maybe an R10, or it depends on what it is when we're talking about how efficient your home is, and there's some scores for stuff like that. So my intent is not to get into that, but then we're talking about how much insulation along your walls on the upper floors, in the ceiling, in your attic. There's optimal numbers for all of that stuff. So it really depends on what type of house you're building. And then what material we use. There's sheeting, where if you can put insulation on the outside of that to prevent thermal breaks, how you're framing the house. There's window insulation, so we can factor in walls when we're building them. Like, hey, what should we make the optimal R value in your window to make sure that you have the most efficient house possible? Then once we understand that, like your thermal resistance to insulating and cooling, then we look at the systems you need. Because if we insulate your house right, we don't need massive systems to heat or cool your home. It just needs to be enough to keep it hot or cold. When we build homes that are insulated right, we don't need, a system that's rated for a 4,000 square foot home or a 3,000 or a 2,000. We can do even less because we've insulated the home right. So when it's cooling season, we don't lose all that cool air. And when it's heating season, we're not putting all that hot air back outside and letting cold air in. So with that said, then when you have the right insulation, we have to make sure we're air sealing and waterproofing your house properly, so that, one, we don't want any water in, but more importantly, two, is the air sealing detail, because we don't want to let that air transfer. So if, today it's 90 degrees outside, we don't want to let that 90-degree air into your house. So how we detail around your windows, your doors, how we join the foundation wall, so your basement wall to walls above it, the wood walls, is very important, because you lose a ton of air in those spots. Are we using spray foam in the box sills? There's a whole lot of things that you can do to help air seal your home to make sure it's more efficient, right? Yes, you can buy stuff. We can do stuff with low voltage lighting nowadays, which is huge when you're talking about lowering the cost to actually have a home. You can do things with solar. That's going to help make it more efficient. Now they have things that are boiler water heaters. So it's really, the options are endless. Don't think about efficiency as like, I'm just going to put in the best, biggest, baddest furnace or AC unit that's out there. Sometimes you can detail and have a much smaller unit and spend that money in other areas of your home when you understand how we do load calculations for heating, cooling, all of that. So an energy efficient home today is not just buying energy efficient products, right? You first have to understand how we're building your home and how we're stopping thermal breaks, how we're not letting air leak in or out of the home, but then filtering that home so you have a safe and healthy and durable home on top of that. So if you want to know more about energy efficiency, and homes that are, let's say even higher than that to the FIA standard, which are passive houses where they can kind of run on their own. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channel for Sanctified Homes. They're always putting content out. It helps them a ton. We appreciate them putting videos out, and specifically for our Blessed to Build Foundation. If you guys can, make sure you're liking, subscribing to our Facebook, YouTube. I think we have LinkedIn even. There'll be links everywhere for you guys to subscribe to that stuff. The biggest right now is help get the word out with the YouTube channel. In the meantime, guys, don't forget to raise your standard. We'll talk to you soon.